Hello, this is Mike Senn, and we are looking at two portable fuel containers. One of them's vented, the other not. The one that's vented allows you to pour the fuel out a lot faster than the one that is not vented. These are some aftermarket spouts and vents that you can put on your newer gas cans that are unvented and have horrible spouts. I chose to go with the metal ones. Let's locate where I want to put it. First, I'm going to go above the fill line. I also want to go somewhere where it is flat and not rounded. Some of the original ones are right there on the seam. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to offset mine. I'm going to find a spot where it's not going to be in the way of my hand when I'm holding it with either hand, fueling it or carrying it. First up, I'm going to transfer some fuel from one non-vented container to a container that I just put a vent on. I want to check to see if it's going to leak or not. One of the first things I'm going to need to do is get rid of that useless filter that came along with this gas can. Gets in the way of my electronic fuel transfer device. This device really sped things up when I was emptying containers that did not have a vent because I had interested parties. Every time I was close to the water, lowering the boat closer to the water to go ahead and fuel it up, this guy would just kind of hang out there. So, yeah, that thing came in handy. And now it's time to operationally check the vent. Make sure that it will in fact pour when I have the screw off, and then when the screw's on, it doesn't allow any leakage. Looks pretty good. Now it's time to figure out where I'm going to put the next vent. The last placement looked pretty good. It was out of the way of my hand, whether I'm holding it with my left hand or my right hand. It's above the top fill level. And it was easy to find and go ahead and snake the vent through from the front. Just kind of curling that wire that was attached to the vent. It's about the same thickness and strength as a coat hanger, cut up a little bit. So just going to really quickly disassemble the vent the way it comes, run the wire through it, make sure that there's a good hook on the end so it's not going to fall off. The whole reason why I've got the wire there is to keep the vent from falling into the gas can, and I can pull it through the freshly drilled hole. There, I'm just sending the wire through, and at the end you might catch a quick glimpse that I've got a nice circular, almost a 180 degree turn on that wire where it holds the vent. It doesn't make it too hard to pull the wire all the way through the vent once I've got it in place to help get seated. Don't be poking your eye out with the wire. Use glasses. Once I have the vent in place, I secure it with the wire and slide the grommet, washer, and nut down the wire to get it on the vent. And this holds the vent in place, keeps it from falling into the container, and also gives it a little bit of tension so that I can start at least finger tightening it on. Can even use the wrench a little bit to get it going on. Once the wrench starts to turn it where the entire vent starts to spin, I'll take the wire out and use a pair of needle nose pliers to gently grasp the vent without damaging the threading and hold it in place while I tighten the nut as best I can. Get a really good tight seal that way. And in case you missed it, once you get all the parts apart, don't forget to leave at least one grommet or washer on the threaded vent. That's the part that is on the inside and pulls up tight to the plastic to help give you a good seal. Running the wire through, I use some needle nose or just regular pliers to go ahead and put almost a J-hook on the end of that to hold the vent in place securely, strong enough to pull up through a snug fit of the hole that we've drilled in the can. If you get the right curvature on there, you might get that through that little hole in a pretty quick matter of time. This was a pretty snug fit. Which is what you want. I was able to wiggle it and pull it on through.